Are you building a job or a business? The 5-point checklist. Hi, my name's Liz Stanford and I'm one half of Baba Business, the Birth and Baby Business Academy.
And my name is Anna Lagrange, the other half of Baba Business, the community membership for birth and baby business owners, plus lots of other things too, which we won't list out in the intro because it might be a bit boring, but go check the show notes out. I'll have lots in there. So job, or as my kids like to call it, a J.O.B. I don't know, is that like a Gen Z thing? I don't know. They call it a J.O.B.
Yeah, probably is.
Or a business, like which is it? So here's our sort of like our checklist for sort of 5 things to help you reflect on. Are you more in that sort of like 9 to 5 mindset, or are you in a business that's got that, ability and capacity to grow? So
yeah,
the first thing we've put is strategy days. Now, strategy day sounds quite exciting to me. If someone says to me strategy day, I do feel some butterflies in my stomach. Can I tell you why?
me too.
Because do you? Because I know that I'm going to take a break from the everyday work in my business and get like creative and think about exciting things and get a bit dreamy, and then but then put an action plan in to get action planning. And to me, that really excites me. I've been doing a bit of it today myself this morning, for my whole life actually, not just my business, and that's felt really good. So I love a strategy day, but essentially what I mean by that is you need to take time out regularly, ideally once a quarter, if not more often, to just look at the big picture, take that bird's eye view. What's going on? Where are we heading? Are the things I'm doing day to day the right things?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we did a strategy day probably this time 2 years ago, maybe, I think it was, in London. And I got great memories of that day. It was so exciting. Like it was a jam-packed, busy day, a room full of people. And it wasn't like you were sat in your thoughts actually planning, but there was time to do some some implementation. And we had such a great day, and then we carried on that planning. And then I think last year, or this year rather, maybe was it when were you over in like the UK winter? Was it
was
February?
in Feb. Yeah, it was when we did Feb, March, when we did Baba Live, the first one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. And then so then we did like a surprise planning day, didn't we? We were suddenly like, I was like, oh, should we meet in London for the day? And we were like, hey, and we spent the whole day in London before you went back, just doing some planning. And that was really well, doing strategy and planning. And that was really, great. It was great fun. I love it. I really love it. And I think it's important that everybody does it. Maybe there's like somewhere that you could go to at once a quarter locally to you, that whether it's a co-working place or it's just like a nice hotel, and you can just sort of nice environment, sit there and just totally take half a day if you can't take a day. It's so worth it. It just takes you out of that doing, because sometimes so I know if I don't do any strategy, I'm just there going, what am I doing, like doing this and just firefighting and trying things here and there. So the strategy part is super, super important, and that definitely makes it more of a business than a JOB.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we go back to the documentation and what we write on those strategy days on, right through the year, don't we? Just to check back in with what we were wanting to do. And you're right, it is connected to planning, which is our next point. But yeah, for me, it's like, make it special. Like you're the CEO of your business, so act like one. Go and go and get yourself a posh coffee, like you say, a nice hotel at something, or just go and take like nice stationery. So I went to a like a little networking thing we have in Cape Town, in my part of Cape Town. It's funny actually, someone I met through the UK, through Carrie Green, through her app, which we use for Baba, through FEA Create, and I met her on a WhatsApp group. Anyway, she's got a lovely networking group, very small group here, and I went to their strategy day. And it was so nice. And she'd gone and got all these little stationery bits and like little clips for our books. And it was just really, do you know what I mean? It just felt really nice, like just a little bit special. So even if you're not doing something with somebody else, but if you do have local strategy days for women going on for small businesses, I highly encourage you to go on them, because they're brilliant spaces, have great energy. Then just make it a bit special for yourself. Don't just sit at your desk thinking, oh, it's a strategy day, what do I do? Get out of your environment, because that's how you're going to be creative. So yeah, go and book your next one now. Hope this has inspired you to go and get a date in the diary.
Definitely. It's making me feel like, oh, I wish that we had a strategy day to offer people, but you know, we always do that, don't we? Oh yeah, we should do that. No, you gotta do anyway. The next we were thinking about is planning. So like we said, it is, you know, you gotta do some planning when you're doing strategy as well, because whatever the strategy is, you've got to work out how you're going to do it. But we really love annual planning. We do a session every year that's focused on annual planning. We have, you know, released like our planners, physical planning product for the last 2 years. We're not doing one this year. Don't cry, everybody. We're not doing it this year. Our focus is on different things, but you know, it's part of BABA, isn't it? Planning and teaching effective planning. It's not just annual planning, it's also getting into the habit of quarterly planning and monthly planning, weekly planning, so that you are really moving towards what those annual goals that you set at the beginning of the year are. If you're not planning, what are you doing? You know, and I'm saying this to myself sometimes. Liz, go back to the plan. Every time you're lost, like, go back to the plan. It's really, really important. So yeah, if you don't have a plan, what are you actually doing? Ask yourself that.
And diarize it, like diarize your quarterly planning. Like I definitely want us to do that for next year. Is we really I want to put our quarterly plans in the diary, and they need to be half days, and then, you know, then your monthly planning as well, and then weekly, ideally every Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. I like Sunday because it just gets me in the headspace for the next week. Some people are like, I don't want to think about work on the weekend. Fair enough. But you know, like if you had a J.O.B, you would be on the Sunday night making sure your clothes were ironed and making sure that you had everything for your packed lunch and stuff, wouldn't you? So think of it a little bit like that, like just ending the weekend with the sort of organising. It doesn't have to be more than like half an hour to just get your diary out in front of you, be like, okay, let's look at my monthly plan. What am I supposed to be doing this week? And then put your actions in for the week. That's going to really help keep you on track. So diarise it all, and the more you get into a rhythm of it, the easier it gets. I mean, I get in and out of rhythms of it. Like I said, at the moment, I am really like looking at strategy for the next year for myself and my businesses, and then once I've figured that out, then I will get real with my planning and getting organized with it, because I have lost. No, we're all human, aren't we? We have moments of being better at things and not so good at things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, never think that we're perfect and we do things like we're often falling off the wagon and then going, why didn't I do that? So so then do you want to say the next thing?
Yeah, so the next one is actually interestingly related to our theme in the membership this week, which is this month, we have monthly themes, not weekly themes, which is ideal client work. So ideal client work has got to be part of your business strategy, because your ideal client is always changing. We have quite a short-ish, depending on what you do, time of being able to talk to a market, bring people into our world, have them buy our services and use our services. For some people, it's a little bit longer. So for some people, it's just pregnancy. For some of us, it's pregnancy to birth. Till like, I don't know, 3 months. It can be, but anyway, it's on a sort of rolling thing. So because of that, things change, trends change, people change, the world is changing. Feels like every day at the moment. So it's really important that we constantly check in with our ideal client, and who our ideal client might change. My ideal client, not for BABA, but for my other business, has really changed in the last 6 months. For me, the direction I want the business to go in. I'm getting a lot more niche down and a lot more precise about exactly who the Mindful Breastfeeding School, the School of Mindful Beginnings is for. So it's just really important to be constantly checking in. So I suggest for ideal client work, every new service you've got to build up who your ideal client is for that service. Otherwise your marketing is going to be all over the place or off for the people you really want to attract in. And really, I think it's got to be yearly, or you might say more often, but on top of that,
I say yearly, or if you're bringing in a new offer or a new service, like make sure you do it then, and you check in with your ideal client work then. I think when people are hearing about ideal client, there might be some resistance coming up there because especially if it's a new idea for you, and you work in the birth or baby world, you might be very much sort of like, well, I just want to attract pregnant women or people, or I just want to work with like mums whose babies are under 3 months or whatever. And you might think like, surely that's niche enough, but it's not, because it's so generic that all your copy and all your marketing and your offers will just feel really blah. So you need to zone in on who that individual is, and it's just using your imagination and like having a bit of fun and playing with it. It's like going back to being a child again, and really kind of creating this character, if you like, bringing her to life, and then building your social media, your copy around what this person needs or is thinking or is feeling. It makes everything so much easier. So if you've got any resistance to it, I ask you to give it a go, and you will probably notice quite a big difference. So the next thing, oh, I like this one, is to surround yourself with the right people. Okay. So we were talking about this before we pressed the record button, and Anna made a really good point. You cannot, like, if you find yourself that you're with people who are, going, oh, there's no clients, nobody's got any money, nobody's booking, nobody's doing this, nobody's doing that. If that's what people in your circle are saying, then you need to widen your circle. You really do, because those people are keeping you stuck, because you're going to be sucked in to that mindset, so try to connect with people who are maybe, that they don't have to be miles ahead of you, they just have to have a different mindset to that. People who are positive, who are like daring, who are trying new things and are excited and motivated. Your energy will shift unbelievably, so try to build a community that's like that, rather than feeling that, I think sometimes it's nice to have that, we feel safe in that solidarity. So it's like, oh, I'm really struggling with getting clients or class bookings, but so is so and so, and so is so and so. So then you feel, hey, it's normal. But no, you need to go and seek the people who are booking clients, or who are really doing things in order to bring those clients into their stratosphere. And it will make so much difference. That's why community is something that's so important to us, isn't it?
It makes such a difference. You've got to, and look, everyone's allowed to have a moan. Everyone's allowed to find things in life and in business difficult. Of course, we're not saying like toxic positivity, no bad vibes and all that all the time. But it is really important that you can see what it looks like when somebody is building a successful business, when they are bringing clients in, when they feel enthusiastic about every opportunity that comes their way, and they just think, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna just, this is so out of my comfort zone, but I'm just going to give it a go anyway. I'm sure we can both think of a few members and a few of our students and clients who fit into that category, and they're amazing to work with, and they're amazing to watch. Sometimes I watch some of our clients and I'm like, oh, I wish I'd thought of that, or it just makes me so excited. And it just, those people who show you that anything's possible. And actually, when we did our series of lessons from a business owner interviews with so many other business owners, that's the message just ran through with every single one of them. These are people who have built big, successful, well-known businesses, and every single one of them just went for it. They just said yes. They just gave it their everything, and that is what's needed. It is what's required. And so go and find those people.
Yeah, definitely. It's so worth it. And we have a community membership, so we see people connecting, and it's lovely. And we've seen over the last few months in particular, we've seen some really good matches, and the impact that people have on each other, like it's so good. So yeah, do seek that out.
Before I say the next one, actually, there's just something I want to add to that, which is that if you are struggling with this, a coach could be your person. Coaching can really, certainly when I was starting out, and even now, but I find coaches really inspiring. I find it, they can be your biggest cheerleader. They can give you lots of ideas, give you encouragement, and that that's why I love coaching myself, because it's a really it's a really special role to be in, and it can really help people to to see themselves, see how wonderful you are, which we know you all are. So that's also something you might want to consider. Okay, so the fifth one is, don't wait to take on help. So this isn't necessarily for everybody at every stage of business, but it's so true that we can get, and Liz and I have both been there at times, where you get so busy with the day-to-day running of your business, and you really need to spend time on these other points that we're talking about, but you don't have the time because you're perhaps doing so much client-facing work. You're covering absolutely everyone. So this is everything. So this is almost like that sort of, we would call these people our bold movers, our big idea innovators, people who are really ready to step up in their business, but in the back of their head, they're like thinking, how? I need to clone myself. How can I do this? It's really important that you realize that there are tasks that you're doing that could be done probably quicker and easier by somebody else, which would free you up for some of these CEO tasks. And just don't put it off. I know it can be a really scary thing, but it makes a big difference to how you can run your business.
I agree. And even if you're before that stage, so let's say you're a brave beginner and you might not be ready to take on paid help, it's similar to what we were saying in last week's episode about making sure that you've got support in place. So it's never too early in your business journey to say to your partner or your support network that I really need some time and some space to be able to effectively set up my business and lay the foundations to create success. So you can't start too early in terms of getting the buy-in from people around you and asking for help in different ways. But yeah, totally agree that the paid help probably comes that little bit later and is invaluable. And oh my god, everybody off, don't they? They're like, no. But once you actually get that support, it makes such a difference. So
it really does. Yeah.
And then we've got a bonus one as well, because we just couldn't stop. So the bonus is to make time for rest and for somatics, as part of your day. That's really important beyond the lunch break. I hope everybody's giving themselves a lunch break. I really do. But beyond that as well, think about how can you bring movement into your day and time for yourself. So by no means are either of us perfect, but I'll just give you an example. Like yesterday, I made time in the morning to do a meditation, and then it was a special Moony type day yesterday, wasn't it? With the it was the date
11/11. It was the manifestation portal.
Yeah, so I made sure that I stopped and I lit the candle that Anna had made for me for the first Bab Alive, and I had some time to just really tune into my intentions and what I wanted, and then carried on with my work. And then later on in the day I did a 15-minute kind of workout. So I really just felt the need to move my body a little bit and feel how strong my body is. It's not very strong. And that really helped me in my day. And then today I made some time this morning to go and have a coffee with my cousin, and now I'll be working probably a bit later than usual, but I will still have my lunch break, and I'm playing netball tonight, so I'll still get my movement. So just making sure you've got those things in your day, however that looks for you. we're in a different stage of parenting to a lot of people who listen to our podcast. So, you know, obviously make it relatable to you, but do make that time, because no one's having any fun if they're just constantly trying to, you know, slog away at their work, whether that's a job or a business.
Yeah. It could even be like Pomodoro. So use a Pomodoro timer, which is 25 minutes of deep work and then 5 minutes. And then for that 5 minutes, don't look at your phone. Go like run around the block, do some stretches, do a few sun salutations, whatever it is. Just, you know, make sure for that 5 minutes you're moving your body, and then, you know, back to another 25 minutes of deep work. So there's lots of different ways of doing it that are possible. It could even just be like, you know, just having a like run around or a little bit of a play with the kids or whatever it is. You know, it could be anything. It's really about that movement and taking a bit of time out for your poor brain.
Yeah, poor brain. Yeah, definitely. So if you are sort of thinking, oh, I'm really rubbish at that, like taking time for myself and doing the somatics or doing the mindset work, do come and check out our free WhatsApp group, which is called 10-Minute Mindset Mastery Hub. And we have a theme every month, and we're literally asking you to take 10 minutes out of your day, just 10 minutes, to focus on whatever the theme is for that month, and it makes a huge difference. Like, you should see some of the sort of messages we get in that group about the impact that the themes are having on people. It's super special. Go to the show notes, come and join our free group. Or if you're ready for some more community on another level, also check out our membership, because we'd love to see you in there as well.
We absolutely would. And we will see you next week. Bye.